Again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2024 edition of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame. It is possible that you are sitting with a current Hall of Fame member and don't know it. So I ask all the current Hall of Fame members to please stand and be recognized. I would also like to thank the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, who worked extremely hard to make this evening a success. Please stand when your name is called. Gary Christopher, Steve Holt, Billy Downs, Ronnie Eastman, Brett Hotchkiss, Bill Carey, John Longhouse, Matt Levis, Terry Moore, Bill Reagan, and Jeff Wright. Also, please refer to page 3 on your program. You'll notice we have a sponsor page. A $500 platinum level donor is Daryl and Phyllis Hayner Foundation. Daryl is a member of the Hall of Fame and a member of tonight's team being inducted. Phyllis Hayner is also a Lansing graduate. A few years ago, Daryl and Phyllis made a 10-year pledge to be a platinum level donor. Tonight, we would like to thank you publicly for your generosity. Don Wursel is also a platinum level donor, and Don is also a member of the Hall of Fame. A special thank you to our $250 gold donors, Hall of Fame member Richard Smith and Smith Wealth Management, Nicole Reynolds from Lake Watch Inn, Mark Canalago from Chow and the Boatyard Grill, Hall of Fame member Tim Kick and wife Marilee and Southern Champion. Tim is also a member of tonight's team inductee. Also, a thank you to a $100 donor in the Blue Sponsor Group. These individuals and businesses have helped fund tonight's dinner. If you have received a complimentary ticket for tonight's dinner, the name of the donor is on the back of your ticket. If you are undecided as to where you would like to shop and spend your money, please review this list and support our local businesses. A special thank you to Pat Terrell and his assistant Maggie Conley at the Lansing Park and Recs Department for handling the ticket sales for this evening. A major thank you to the Hall of Fame member Billy Downs for coordinating and the making of tonight's program. Many of you will be interested in an opportunity to take a photo this evening. The inductees' biographies will be read. At the end, when they receive their plaque, they will move forward. Their plaque will be presented by the person or persons that nominate them for the Hall of Fame. That will be your chance to take your photos. We do ask that you allow Diane Duthie to take the first picture. The bar will remain open during the induction ceremony. If you'd like a beverage, please feel free to leave your seat and go to the bar. We do ask that you return to your seat after getting your drink and do not hang out at the bar. Please limit your conversation at the bar area so your voice does not interrupt the induction ceremony. When the program concludes, the bar will remain open and Nicole will have music piped through Pandora. There's no reason to run off. Please stay and enjoy each other's company. So this is our 25th Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which began in 1998. And like every year in the past, it is represented by quality athletes. There are 90 individual athletes, 22 teams that have been inducted into Lansing Hall of Fame. Tonight, we welcome 4 individuals and 1 team. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce tonight's Master of Ceremonies, Jeff Wright.
Jocelyn Ford Toomey, 2011 Lansing grad. Jocelyn was a 5-time letter winner while at Lansing, earning 4 in basketball and 1 in softball. In basketball, she was a 4-year starter on the varsity. She began her career as an 8th grader, a postseason call-up, and scored 20 points in a Section 4 quarterfinal game. She helped Lansing to a 4-year record of 75-11. She was a 3-time IAC All-Star and twice was named the IAC's Most Valuable Player. Ford was a Class B 3rd-team All-State selection as a sophomore and a Class B 1st-team All-State selection as a junior and again as a senior. She was a 3-time Section 4 Elite member and a 3-time Stars and Stripes Officials All-Star Team member. As a junior, she was named to the New York State Basketball Coaches Association Top 50 player list. Her senior year, she was named the Section 4 Class B Player of the Year. Jocelyn finished her career as the 2nd leading scorer in Lansing girls basketball history, scoring 1,212 points, trailing only fellow Hall of Famer Lindsey Dean Felling. Jocelyn served as co-captain for 2 years and was the team's leading scorer, averaging 18 points her senior year. She also averaged 8 rebounds a game as a senior, which also led the team. In 2009-2010 team, in the Section 4 finals, on the day of the game, Jocelyn had a car accident on her way to school at the corner of Asbury and Trickhammer Road. Hall of Fame coach Stuart Dean said, "The poor kid was really rattled. She had scored 32 in our upset win against Shenango Valley in the semifinals, but only 15 in the finals, which we lost in overtime to Oneonta." Coach Dean said, "As a coach, you hope you can provide a setting where each individual athlete can maximize their abilities and become the best player they possibly can. In some instances, athletes were good enough to continue their playing career at the next level, although that is rare. There are times when coaches can take some credit for the accomplishment. However, that is not the case with Jocelyn, because it wouldn't have mattered who the coach was. She was going to make it to the next level." Dean continued, "My very first memories of Jocelyn were when I used to visit middle school. I would visit during her lunch break, and nearly every time I would see Jocelyn dribbling a basketball or shooting at the basket, either inside or out. She always had a basketball with her. She was a highly motivated athlete who worked extremely hard to refine the skills necessary to be the best player she could be. She was a great leader who led by example." Dean added, "From a coach's perspective, one of the best qualities of a great player is the ability they have to make their teammates better. Jocelyn brought that out in her teammates." Following her graduation, she attended Lemoyne College. After her freshman season, she transferred to Bloomsburg University, where she was a 3-year starter. While at Bloomsburg, she scored 779 points, while averaging over 11 points a game. She also compiled 224 career assists. She shot 43% from the field, 33% from three-point range, and 79% from the foul line. She helped Bloomsburg to a 3-year record of 76-16 and led them to 3 Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference titles. Ford was a 2-time All-PSAC East Team selection and a 2-time PSAC All-Tournament Team selection. She played in 3 NCAA tournaments, twice making the Sweet 16. Bloomsburg head coach Bill Cleary recalled the game when they were playing in Millersville. Cleary said, "One of Jocelyn's strengths was getting into position to take a charge. She was a great defender. We're playing Millersville and their guard is coming down court, and Jocelyn takes a position and takes the charge. She gets knocked backwards, hits her head on the floor, and there's no call. She jumps up, gets into position to take a second charge, which she did. Jocelyn was run over again, and she was called for a block." Cleary said the first charge resulted in a concussion. "We sent the tape to the league, and the officials determined that both the calls should have been charges." Coach Cleary added a second story. He says, "We're in a timeout. I'm discussing an inbounds play, and I see Jocelyn making hand gestures to someone. I look over, and she and my young son are throwing Spider-Man webs at each other." Cleary said, "All I could do was smile. She was so well grounded in her emotions." Coach Cleary added, "Everyone just loved her. Jocelyn is probably the best college player I ever coached. She was playing at a Division II school, and she could have played at a number of Division I programs. Jocelyn is a senior supply planner for Under Armour. She's married to Jared Toomey, and they have one daughter, and a second daughter is expected in February. They live in York, Pennsylvania. Hall of Fame coach Stuart Dean will present Jocelyn's plaque. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2024 member of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame, Jocelyn Ford Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. First of all, I'm not going to keep you guys hanging out too long. I joked with the other girls that I did not prepare anything, thinking how hard could public speaking be if you know everyone in the room. It is still public speaking, so just bear with me here. First of all, thank you to the committee. I really appreciate you putting me in the category as all of the other inductees, all of these ladies, these guys here tonight. Kind of feel like you might have let one slide here. There's so many great athletes that have come through Lansing that I think I personally took it for granted a little bit, even just the times I was walking through the halls. I mean, just with these ladies, Megan, Rachel, Ellen, what you guys have done, absolutely incredible. I don't think many people have that unique of an experience, so congratulations to you guys too. Lake Watch, thank you for having us for the meal. I heard all the drinks are on Wayne tonight, so make sure you guys enjoy yourselves. No, but in all seriousness, I think when I got the call from Mr. Wright, had a pretty strong feeling Mr. Dean had something to do with my nomination, which turned out to be true. So Mr. Dean, thank you very much for that, but for so much more. I think you drug me around to plenty of games just to kind of show me what I could be if I wanted to put in the time and effort. You picked me up early on Saturdays to get some extra shots up. Doesn't mean we didn't butt heads once in a while, but I think I owe an awful lot to you. You often do say I was a self-made player, and I take a lot of pride in that. The effort and the commitment I did take to make myself the best player I could be, but also make up for probably some lack of athletic ability that I did not have. But it certainly doesn't help to have a Hall of Fame coach in your corner too. So I will share one funny story that I have that I remember fondly. I think it was one of my first varsity games, and we were playing Murray Notre Dame, who had a pretty good program. We were right at the end of the half, so this wasn't on my time, or on my part time very well, but I tried a behind the back pass on a 2-on-1 break, and whoever was on the receiving end wasn't expecting it, dropped it, went out of bounds, horn went off. Mr. Dean muted me in the locker room with a broken clipboard. It was not our finest interaction, but so we had plenty of those, but you know, you were always there for me to show me what I could be if I was willing to put in the effort, so thank you. And then finally, just my family. You know, my Nana and Pops, I wish they could be here with me. They never miss anything, so if they could be here, I know they would be. But I think my brother and I were pretty lucky with, we had the two best coaches in the world growing up, and I know a lot of us can say we have a great support system, so and I think that's huge for getting us to where we are. So just thank you. I had incredible role models in my life, so thank you guys. You know, that kind of wraps it up for me. So remember, Wade, drinks are on me. I can't partake, so somebody's got to make up for it. So thank you all, and thank you all so much again to the committee. I really, really appreciate it. It's an incredible honor, so thank you.
Kane. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't thank my husband and my daughter. Let me
Good thing you added that. Ellen Grant Kane, 2010 graduate. Ellen was an 8-time letter winner, earning 4 in soccer, 3 in basketball, and 1 in track and field. In track, she ran the 200 and 400-yard dash, and the 4x200 and 4x400-yard relay. She also competed in the long jump and the triple jump. In basketball, she was named the most improved player as a sophomore and became a 2-year starter. As a junior, she averaged 4.5 points a game with 92 steals, second on the team, and 74 assists, first on the team. Her senior year, she averaged 8 points per game and led the team in steals with 141 and assists with 114. Grant Kane was named to the Ithaca Journal Basketball All-Region team as a senior and was named to the Exceptional Senior All-Star Game. Ellen helped the Lady Cat squad to a 3-year record of 38-7 that included 3 IAC division titles, 2 IAC league championships, and 2 Section 4 Class B runner-up finishes. Hall of Fame coach Stuart Dean said, Ellen was an exceptional athlete and a fierce competitor whose motor never stopped. She was a great two-way player. As a point guard, she was adept at getting the ball to a teammate for easy scoring opportunities or scoring herself from the perimeter or slashing to the basket for a layup. Dean continued, she was a nightmare for opposing ball handlers, as she was a relentless defender who harassed the ball from end to end line. It would only be a matter of time before she would force some type of turnover, which would lead to an easy basket for herself or a teammate. With Ellen, it was like having a coach on the floor. She would get the team organized on offense and get us into a particular set play, and defensively, she would identify what defense we were in and initiate our ball pressure. Dean continued, perhaps Ellen's greatest attribute was her competitiveness. You could always count on getting her maximum effort regardless of the circumstances. In soccer, she was a 4-year starter and scored 85 goals and added 63 assists. She was a 3-time IAC All-Star. As a junior, she was a second-team Class B All-State selection and a first-team Class B All-State selection as a senior. Ellen co-captained the team her senior year. Grant Kane helped the Lady Cats to a 4-year record of 77-5, winning 4 IAC championships, 4 Section 4 Class B titles, and 3 New York State Class B regional titles. Former Lansing women's head soccer coach Maureen Jacob Whitehead said, Ellen was one of the most technical on the field. Ellen controlled the center, but could be relied on to step into any role, a true playmaker. Whitehead said she brought intensity, feistiness, tenacity, and the love of the game for her teammates to every training and competition. Former Lansing head coach Lamar Peters said, there are so many superlatives I can use when speaking of Ellen as a player. During our time together, she was our most creative and best passer. She was a devastating goal scorer. Her soccer IQ was off the charts. Ellen knew the game and could speak the game to others, and that manifested her into being named team captain as a senior. But more than anything, it was Ellen's commitment to her team and her competitive fire that I remember most. It was time spent with Ellen in the off-season, during weight room sessions or 6 a.m. workouts at the field before school, and I really got to see what she was made of. She allowed me to push her past her boundaries, past her own limitations, knowing that at the end, she will have prepared to leave it all on the field. Peters continued, there are not enough words to write and express the specialness of a young person you watch grow into a wonderful adult. I know in my heart Ellen deserves this honor. She represented Lansing High School and our community with pride and honor. She did that with a number 2 on her back, but for me, she'll always be one of my number 1s. Grant King was a member of the IAC All-Academic Team. Ellen went to Ithaca College, where she was a 3-year starter in soccer. She holds the Ithaca College school record for career assists with 30 and is ranked number 2 in assists in a season with 11. She also added 21 goals to place her 10th on the all-time career scoring list at Ithaca. Ellen helped Ithaca College to a 4-year record of 66, 13, and 7. While at Ithaca College, Ellen participated in 4 NCAA tournaments, including a Final Four run in 2011, a Sweet 16 in 2012, and the Elite 8 in 2013. Ithaca College head women's soccer coach Mindy Quigg said, "Ellen was one of the most unassuming players I've ever coached. So much so that I nearly lost a game to Stevens her freshman year because I waited until very late in the game to put her in. It didn't take long to secure the win once she got in on the field. A knack for finding the right moments to exploit in a match and an unwavering commitment to the sport, her coaches, and her teammates. Ellen was a player that showed pure joy when she was on the field and made the most of every opportunity she had." Quigg continued, "I can't say enough about her as a player and the impact she had on our program. But on a personal note, Ellen is one of those former players that had a tremendous impact on me personally. Her impact on my life as a player, colleague, and friend is one for the record books." Ellen lives in Ithaca. She works at Cornell University as an assistant director of annual giving for student and campus life and athletics. She is here this evening with her boyfriend Pat Burns. Presenting her plaque are her parents, Paula and Tom Grant King. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2024 member of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame, Ellen Grant King.
I'm Jocelyn Ford, so my speech is written. Hi everybody, thanks so much for coming. This is awesome, this place is awesome. And the four of us women were in the bathroom saying, I think the last time we were here was probably like semi-formal or prom or something. So it's pretty awesome to be back. Congratulations, Meg, Grace, Joss. In the 75-76 class, basketball. It's pretty cool to see that, they're coming back still. I hope I'm coming back still. Being inducted into the Lansing Hall of Fame is so special, and certainly the warmest welcome to old age that I can think of. Thank you for turning the lights up. A few thank yous to start. I'll begin with the most important one, and that's the Hall of Fame Committee for finally ending the 32-year-long sibling dispute over who is the better athlete in our family. I think it's clear that the scales have finally tipped in my favor. Thank you to all my coaches over the years. I became a better person, player, and coach because of you. Thank you, Mr. Dean, for always ordering me 2 pairs of sneakers because my feet are 2 different sizes. Thank you for accepting, coaching, and turning soccer players into basketball players. Well, let's face it, into the supporting cast for Jocelyn Ford. You were the first one to give Nina and me the nickname Twin Towers. It's as relevant today as it was back then. Thank you, Billy, for being the first woman I really admired as an athlete. Thank you, Lamar, for your insatiable enthusiasm for soccer, as well as doing all you could to nurture what talent we provided you with. You believed we could conquer the world, which gave us young women a little bit more confidence than we would have had otherwise. You also believed we needed to be a unit, one heartbeat. I remember one day you made us bear walk for 45 minutes during practice, hands and feet. Now, I'm not saying we didn't deserve this because we probably did, but you sure knew how to unify us as one. When I expressed I would need to get stronger, faster, and better in order to play at the next level, you didn't blink an eye. You showed up every day. You showed up in the weight room, on the field, or anywhere extra I needed help. So thank you. Thank you for believing in me and in us. To our coach, Mindy, at IC, you have left such an imprint on me. Like you said, you are a fantastic coach, mentor, and leader, and among the most honest people I know. Your honest eyes can tell an entire story without ever muttering a word. You have taught so many of us to cherish the people next to us more than we cherish the wins, because those are the people you ride highs and lows with in life. Thank you for being such an inspiration to me. Thank you to my second family, Dawn, Richard, Lydia, and Spencer, for every car ride, orange slice, extra milkshake, and specifically Richard for being a personal team photographer. Lydia, playing with you and next to you will always hold a special place in my heart. Thank you for being my #1 hype woman, always, though I hope you'll delete all the photos that have resurfaced during this induction process. A big thank you and obvious thank you to my parents, Abu, and my brother for nurturing my love of sports, dance, and overall activity into my life. No matter what sport, I've always felt at home and free moving my body. No matter what sport I have, on the field and on the court is where I've always felt most confident and competent. Thank you for your endless sacrifice, whether it was leaving work early to not miss a single game, driving to Binghamton 2 to 3 times a week, or to Buffalo in the winter to make sure I was supported and set up for success. Dad, my #1 coach, Mom, my #1 fan, and Devin, my #1 competitor. Thank you for countless car rides, chirps at the referees, and bear hugs after games. Whenever I thought about my why, it was always you and the joy it brings our family to compete, win, and celebrate together. I am a fierce competitor, and I love seeing others succeed. Among all the accolades in my bio, I think I am most proud of the assists in high school and the record I hold at IC. I would like to think it's a small reflection of who I strive to be as a person in my day-to-day life, ambitious but unselfish. I also realize that I am tough on myself, always have been, and sometimes don't give myself enough credit. Pat, thank you for making me feel so special for this accomplishment. I'm proud of being from Lansing, always have been. The mandate from our coaches, parents, and teachers was always that we show up every day and do our best. Lansing's a special place, and I feel so lucky to experience this honor with these women, this town, and the people in this room. Thank you for inducting me into the class of 2024 Hall of Fame.
Megan Palladino-Dake, graduation 2009. Megan was a 10-time letter winner at Lansing, earning 5 in soccer, 4 in basketball, and 1 in track and field. Running track, her events were the 200 and 400-yard sprint, 400 hurdles, and 400-yard relay. In basketball, Megan helped the Lady Cats to a 4-year record of 75 and 13, winning 4 IAC division titles and 2 IAC championships. Her senior year, they lost to Oneonta in the Section 4 Class B finals. At the time of the game, Megan was the team's second leading rebounder and top defender, and did not play in the sectional final, the result of an injury while playing indoor soccer. As a senior, Megan was named the Oswego Christmas Holiday Tournament MVP, leading Lansing to the title. Lansing Hall of Fame basketball coach Stu Dean said, Megan was an extremely versatile player who was a true lockdown defender. What made her so unique was the fact that she could guard nearly anyone on the court. Typically, she would be assigned the opponent's best guard, and she would invariably take away the scoring threat. However, despite her lack of height, she would find herself guarding forwards and in some cases against girls much taller, and it was that versatility that made her so valuable to us. Dean continued, Megan was also a great rebounder. When a shot went up, she was relentless in tracking down the rebound. Dean added, Megan was a great competitor and teammate who contributed in so many ways to the success of the teams that she played on. In soccer, she was named first team IAC All-Star 4 times. Her sophomore year, she was voted the IAC MVP. As a senior, she was named the IAC co-MVP with her sister Rachel. Megan was Class B first team All-State selection in soccer as a senior. Megan helped Lansing to 3 IAC league titles, 3 Section 4 Class B championships, along with 2 New York State Class B regional crowns, while compiling a 5-year record of 82, 15, and 1. In 2006, Megan was part of a defense that had 13 shutouts in 19 games and only allowed 8 goals during the season. As a junior, Megan scored the only goal of the game while playing defense, defeating Shenango Forks to win the Section 4 Class B title 1-0. In her senior year, she assisted on the only goal of the game in a 1-0 win over Shenango Forks, claiming another Section 4 Class B title. Former Lansing head coach Maureen Dracup Whitehead said, "I had the privilege to coach Megan. Her quiet demeanor was one of her greatest strengths. Megan brought a sense of confidence and calmness to the back line. One of the most humble players I have ever coached, her work rate was second to none. When she was in the lineup, our defense was solid. Not only did she have athleticism well above average, she was one of the smartest players I ever coached." Whitehead continued, "Her ability to cover space was unlike her peers. She was a great game changer and one of the nicest yet fiercest competitors." Lamar Peters, former head soccer coach of the Lady Cats, said, "Quite simply, Meg was the boss. She was the tone setter in practice and in games. She was strong, tough, aggressive, a technically sound leader in the middle of the field. Whether playing in the defensive line or as the hub in the middle, we depended on her to be a rock. Her job was to keep the other team in check, whether shouting out instructions to teammates or doing the dirty work herself. Megan exemplified the work ethic that I believe Hall of Fame players represent." Peters added, "She was unmoved by personal statistics. If we won, she won." Peters concluded, "When I look back at the type of player she was, it was toughness, the willingness to grind and the desire to stand up and face any challenge." Following her graduation, she attended Ithaca College and was a 4-year starter on the soccer team. She helped the Bombers to a 4-year record of 63, 15, and 9. She participated in 4 NCAA tournaments, including a Final Four run in 2011, Sweet 16 in 2012, and an Elite 8 finish in 2013. As a sophomore, she started every game and was a first-team Empire 8 Conference All-Star. Megan was selected to the National Soccer Coaches Association of America, the NSCAA All-East Region All-Star. As a senior, Palladino earned spots on the All-Empire 8 Conference First Team, the Empire 8 Championship All-Tournament Team, the NSCAA College Division Scholar All-America Third Team, and the NCSAA College Division All-East Regional First Team. Ithaca College head women's coach Mindy Quake said, "I always felt Megan was the glue to our team. She was smart and calculated on the field and used that, along with her natural strength and ability to shape a game. Truly another set of eyes on the field that could read the game and communicate to everyone, in her soft yet stern voice, what needed to be done. And when people slacked off or just didn't care, she did take care of it. Wish I had one more year with Megan." Megan lives in State College, Pennsylvania with her husband Kyle and their 3 children. And number 4 is due in December, and I was told today, 2.5 weeks. I didn't know we were on the maternity ward today with all of our inductees. Megan's a stay-at-home mom. Presenting the plaque will be Mike and Benita Lindbergh, ladies and gentlemen, a 2024 member of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame, Megan Palladino Dake. And because we have twins and they're going in together, they're both going to come up and speak at the same time. So we're going to go right into Rachel. Rachel Palladino, graduation 2009. Rachel was a 10-time letter winner in Lansing, earning 5 in soccer, 4 in basketball, and 1 in track and field. In track, she ran the 100 and 200-yard sprints and the 4x100 relay. Palladino helped the basketball team to a 4-year record of 75 and 13, winning 4 IAC division titles and 2 IEC championships. In her senior year, they lost to Oneonta in the Section 4 Class B finals. Lansing Hall of Fame coach Stuart Dean said, "Rachel was a great athlete who made a positive impact both offensively and defensively. She was an extremely intense player who was a one-person fast break if she could force a turnover or secure a defensive rebound. She was faster dribbling the ball than most players were running to catch her. Defensively, she was a very physical present, both on the ball and as a help defender. Rachel played the game with great focus and intensity. She was a great leader who led by example. She was very competitive as an athlete who worked tirelessly to become the very best she could be. Failure was totally unacceptable to her. Dean added, it was her drive that set her apart from her peers. You knew when the ball went up to start the game, you were going to get the best effort, and she would do whatever it took to win the game. Palladino was a superstar in soccer. As a freshman, she was a first-team IAC Division All-Star and was named Division III IAC Most Valuable Player. As a sophomore, she was a first-team IAC Division III All-Star and was named to the fourth-team New York State Class B All-State team. As a junior, she was a first-team IAC All-Star and a first-team Class B All-State selection. Her senior year, she was named Division III IAC Co-MVP with her sister Megan and was named for a third time as a first-team Class B All-State selection. Her soccer records include being Lansing girls' leading scorer for all 5 years in high school. She is the Section 4 all-time leading goal scorer with 188 goals and ranks number 10 in New York State for goals scored regardless of the size of the school. Rachel helped Lansing to 3 IEC championships, 3 Section 4 Class B championships, 2 Class B New York State regional titles, while compiling a 5-year record of 82, 15, and 1. Former Lansing head coach Maureen Jacob Whitehead said, I was fortunate to coach Rachel in soccer, both at the high school level as well as club. The energy she brought to every training and game was elevated. She was not only a superb athlete, she was a tremendous teammate and role model for those around her. Rachel changed the game when she was on the field. She was a true striker, a driven goal scorer. Whitehead finished with, she was one of the best problem solvers, always figuring out how to beat the back line. Pure joy to watch her get into her zone. Former girls head coach Lamar Peters said, in front of the goal, Rachel was unstoppable. Getting to the goal, Rachel was unstoppable. She was a complete dominant force. She was a champion that was only outshined by the humbleness by which she carried herself. She was the sharpest point of our collective spear, the one that teams feared. Peters added, Rachel had desire, speed, power, tactical awareness, and creativity. I don't know if Lansing girls soccer will ever see the likes of a Rachel Palladino again. Following her graduation, she played soccer at Ithaca College, where she was the most prolific scorer in program history, with 63 goals and 23 assists. She was named the Empire 8 Conference Rookie of the Year as a freshman and set the freshman team scoring record with 12 goals and 7 assists. Palladino was named the Empire 8 Player of the Year as a sophomore. Rachel was a Division III first-team All-America selection as a junior, leading Ithaca College to the NCAA semifinals. She was a Division III first-team All-America selection as a senior. Her 4-year record at Ithaca College was 63, 15, and 9. She participated in 4 NCAA tournaments, including a Final Four run in 2011, Sweet 16 in 2012, and an Elite 8 finish in 2013. Mindy Quigg, Ithaca College's head coach, said, when Rachel committed to IC, I was so excited. Then I said, I hope I don't screw this up. She was an athlete that inspired me to be a better coach. Her natural talent and eagerness to compete, to win and have fun with her teammates all of the time was an amazing combination. Quigg continued, I wanted to be better for her so she could achieve her goals. She was a fearless competitor in her time at IC and left a mark that is yet to be filled. Rachel was named the Ithaca Journal Female Athlete of the Year in 2011. In 2023, she was inducted into the Ithaca College Athletic Hall of Fame. Rachel lives in Westmoreland, New Hampshire. She works for Centera Healthcare, where she is an integrated care manager and registered nurse. She's married to Eric Paletti, and they are expecting their first child in December. Presenting her plaque will be Mike and Benita Lindbergh. So Mike and Benita, you need to come forward because you have to present 2 plaques. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2024 member of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame, Rachel Palladino.
First off, we would just like to thank you for this honor. It is truly very special to be recognized for these achievements we made in our hometown.
We have always believed that the success of the individual is a reflection of the people and community surrounding them. Lansing was an incredible place to grow up in. It does an amazing job fostering growth in their youth with the recreational sports, as well as their art and music programs. And the overall parent and family involvement is second to none. So your commitment to us is the reason we are able to stand here before you now, and we cannot thank you enough for that.
There are way too many thank yous, but we would like to highlight some for you. To our family, our parents for their love and support and the time that they spent driving us to practices and games. They made sure to be at every single game, which with 5 kids was quite a task. Our sisters, who we were able to play with at different points during our high school careers, we loved each other, but we were definitely the most competitive with each other during our soccer practices. Jake, who despite being dragged around his whole childhood to his sister's sporting events, loved us enough to be our team manager for a couple of years.
And we have so many coaches, but to highlight a few, Maureen Whitehead, Lamar Peters, and Stu Dean, who coached us in our travel leagues and our varsity teams at Lansing. Our dad, Tom Kane, and Mike Cheatham, for coaching us from tater tots to teens, and all the numerous club coaches we had. You are an integral part of our development in our sports, but also the development into the people we are today. And our teammates from every single team we played on for pushing us to be better players and teammates every day, especially Ellen and Jocelyn, who we hold very special memories with and have a special place in our heart.
Last off, everyone who's here and the entire Lansing community, thank you. Now we would like to end with a couple of our individual thank yous and memories. I want to thank the Dakes, who have been a constant support in my life. Kyle, for being a part of the Lansing Lunatics and always cheering for us. My husband, Eric, who is now my biggest supporter and who I can picture as an honorary Lansing Lunatic right next to Kyle, he had grown up here. Last, I'd like to share a memory I had with Adam Peck during my senior year. Adam traveled with us to the very last soccer game of my career, which we lost in postseason. I was very upset and crying knowing it was my last game ever at my high school, and he just hugged me and said, "There's really no need to cry, your life is just beginning." And he was right, but I didn't actually appreciate those words until much later. I thought about him recently just being nominated for this honor and being close to having my first child. I hope to bless my child by raising them in a community of people as supportive as Lansing was to me, so thank you.
And I would like to start off by thanking my husband, Kyle. We have been together since high school, and he truly took on the role of my supporter, not only in my sporting ventures, but in all aspects of my life. I love you, and thank you for all that you do for me and our family. The Dakes for welcoming me into their family with open and loving arms and supporting me over all the years. And I also wanted to share something that I found earlier this year when I was going through some old boxes in my basement. It was a graduation card that Lamar had written to me, and I wanted to share part of it here with you. He said, "You are all that you will ever need. Your thoughts will be what you are and become. Keep them sharp, honest, motivated, and the next 18 will be a treasure for the queen." So coaches don't only influence kids on the field, they also influence them off the field. I didn't understand the magnitude of these words when Lamar first presented them to me, but I kept that card for a reason, and reading them earlier this year was exactly what I needed. I loved playing sports growing up, especially in Lansing. I feel very blessed to have had the experiences I've had and all the lessons that I've learned and carried with me to this day.
Thank you so much, and congrats to all the other inductees.
as I put together the bios tonight, I received a couple of letters. And they're from people that have already been quoted in the bio, but each one sent something separate. You'll understand, I think, hopefully here. From Mindy Quigg. I hope this comes across as sincerely as I mean it. She says, thank you. Hope you have a great evening, Mindy Quigg. From Maureen Whitehead. These three girls raised the bar for me early in my coaching career. I often had them on the same field together, whether it was in Lansing or in a travel club, where we often had to play up 3 age groups to make it competitive. All 25 years of coaching, they still stand out as the 3 most coachable players I've ever had the privilege to coach. Their focus, ability to adapt, leadership, and love of what they're doing set a standard that is rare. I can't think of 3 others that deserve this honor more. And from Coach Stuart Dean, I am truly honored to have coached all 4 going into the Hall of Fame. They were all exceptional student athletes who worked extremely hard to maximize their potential and become the very best athletes they could. The fact that all 4 went on to play their chosen sport in college speaks to their level of commitment. Of equal importance was the fact that all 4 were amazing young ladies who were a positive influence on all that they came into contact with throughout their high school careers. The Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame was started to recognize great achievement of its athletes, coaches, and contributors. These 4 ladies are exactly the type of athletes the Hall of Fame is looking to recognize. Stuart Dean. Now for our team, the 1975-76 boys basketball team. The 75-76 boys basketball team finished with a record of 19-3. During divisional play, Lansing set a school record that still stands today, most points in a single game. They defeated McGraw 103-79. They won the IAC Northeast title with a record of 13-1 and 15-2 overall. The Bobcats faced off against the Candor Indians for the overall IAC championship. The Indians, who rode the 31-point average of 6'5" senior Cliff Warwell to the IAC Southwest Division Championships, got a lift from a different player, 5'11" Sean Joyce, who came off the bench to lead a second half war party, which overwhelmed Lansing 61-48 at Ithaca College Ben Light Gym in front of a capacity crowd of 2,000. Tom Kick scored 14, Jack French added 12 for the Bobcats. Lansing began its run in the Section 4 tournament by defeating number 7 seed Newark Valley, following a first-round bye. It was a stubborn Bainbridge-Guilford team that trailed by 1 at halftime, 25-24. Lansing trailed by 8, 52-44, with 4:21 left in the fourth quarter. Lansing rallied, finally taking the lead 56-51 with 45 seconds left on a Daryl Hayner layup following an inbounds pass. The team traded misses and BG missed a second time before Tom Kick hauled down the game-winning rebound with 7 seconds left. Tim Kick was fouled at the buzzer, converted the shot. Lansing wins 57-55. The Bobcats had 4 players in double figures, Jack French with 12, Tim Kick 11, Gary Moore and Daryl Hayner each had 10. Gary Moore's 10 points all came in the second half when he went 4 for 4 from the field and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Tom Kick led all rebounders with 11. The Section 4 Class B game was played at Ithaca College against Nemesis Southern Cayuga. The Chiefs led the Bobcats by 8 at halftime. Southern Cayuga coach Paul Thomas was cautiously optimistic as he spoke. "We played very well so far, but when you play a team as good as Lansing, you know they'll come back." The second half opened with Lansing out of its press and into a tough zone. The Chiefs couldn't seem to get roaring again, and the Bobcats began to chip away at the lead. 4 key buckets by the Cats in the third quarter came on Southern Cayuga turnovers. Southern Cayuga still had a slim lead going into the fourth quarter until 2 key elements came together. The first was when the Chiefs' big man, Terry Nicholas, fouled out of the game. With Nicholas gone, the boards belonged to Lansing. The second element was when the Chiefs were forced to try to stall with 4 minutes remaining in the game. The stall works well when guards Dempsey and Kopp had the ball, but when they fed the ball inside, the Chiefs forward shot instead of passing the ball back out to continue the stall. It proved disastrous as the Chiefs shot and missed, and Lansing pulled down the rebounds. Lansing knotted the score at 51 thanks to a Dave Stewart basket and a converted foul shot with 40 seconds remaining. With the score tied after regulation, we're off to the first overtime. Lansing controlled the tip-off to start the overtime, but cautious play prevented any wild shooting. Both teams had chances, but neither converted. With the score still tied after the 3-minute overtime, we are headed to a second overtime. The Bobcats brought the ball down, set up, and passed the ball to Jack French, who fired off a short jumper. He missed, but followed a shot, putting the ball back up and in. Southern Huga was bringing the ball up the court when just over midcourt, their guard fell. Tim Kick alertly picked up the loose ball, dashed down the court, and laid it in for 2. Lansing held on to win 63-57. The Bobcats are the Class B Section 4 champions. Jack French led the team in scoring with 22. Tim and Tom Kick each had 14. The 75-76, there were no New York State basketball tournaments as we know them today. At the time, New York State was the only state in the country that did not have a state championship playoff format. The first step in moving to a statewide tournament was to have sectional champions play other sectional champions. Lansing, the Class B Section 4 winner, is now scheduled to play the Class B Section 3 champion, South Jefferson. The game was played at SUNY Cortland and found in front of 2,000 crazed fans. Except for a brief 2-0 lead in the opening quarter, Lansing led all the way until 2:47 remained in the game, when Henry Waite drove without fear into the heart of the Lansing man-to-man sagging defense. Waite was fouled and converted both free throws to give South Jefferson the lead by 1, 58-57. Darrell Hayner, who finished his high score with 23 points for Lansing, got the Bobcats back in front 59-58, using his familiar move underneath, backing into a defensive player and then up with a shot. South Jefferson's Dave Castleman, who had a quiet night in shooting after his 31-point effort the previous week in the Section 3 win, put his club back on top 60-59. But Hayner came right back to score with 1:03 left. Lansing is ahead 61-60. Bill Larkin was fouled by Lansing Larry Moore with just 31 seconds left and was shooting 1-1. The first shot rolled off the rim and Lansing grabbed the rebound. 2 timeouts later, Lansing easily broke the full court press and Darrell Hayner was fouled attempting a layup. Shooting 2, Hayner saw his first shot bounce off the rim. He made the second, increasing Lansing's lead to 62-60. With 15 seconds left, South Jefferson drove the length of the floor, and took a hurried jump shot. No good. South Jefferson grabs the rebound and shoots again. No good. Lansing is the New York State Section 3, Section 4 regional champion, 62-60. The leadership of this team was shared throughout the season. Long and lanky rebounders like Larry Moore, Gary Moore, and Dave Stewart. Baseline jumpers and inside play from Mike Khalil, Tom Kick, and Hall of Fame member Darrell Hayner. A key defensive play by Tom Stull or Jeff Frost. Running a fast break by Dick Wagner or Bob Hoagland. And a key scoring by Jack French and Hall of Fame member Tim Kick. A characteristic that distinguished this team was it didn't matter who scored. There were no egos on the team. Their common goal was to win. The team was coached by Hall of Famer Freddie Khalil, and his assistant coach was Ed Leo Dinan. Presenting certificates for the Hall of Fame members will be Chuck Crandall. And just an aside, Chuck was inducted into the original Hall of Fame class in 1998. We picked the top 10 athletes in school from all the history of Lansing sports, and he was one of 10. I don't believe Chuck has ever missed a Hall of Fame dinner, and he's here again tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2024 member of the Lansing Athletic Hall of Fame, the 1975-76 men's basketball team. Before we have the members come forward, I would like to read a letter that I received this week. When Coach Wright called me a few weeks ago to tell me about your induction into the Lansing Sports Hall of Fame, I had 2 reactions. The first, I couldn't believe you were not already a member. The second was one of the profound disappointment that I would not be able to attend due to a family Thanksgiving in South Carolina. Congratulations for your well-deserved recognition. This group of young men, who will always be young men in my mind since I haven't seen most of you since you graduated, were the first basketball players to squeak their Adidas and Pumas across the Bobcat court. There were no Michael Jordans back then. They not only inaugurated this court, but they also put an exclamation point on the season with their championship. They set the bar high for all future teams. Coach Khalil was extremely proud of all of you for what you were able to accomplish, oftentimes against very stiff competition. Maybe it was all those oranges he served you at halftime that gave you the energy boost. Who knows? I am very proud of all of you, and I am lucky to have played a small part in your success. I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. Assistant Coach Ed Leo Diamond. Let's meet the members of the team. Fred Khalil is deceased. Manager Randy Avery is deceased. Unable to attend, Mike Khalil from Woodlands, Texas. Ed Diamond, Charleston, South Carolina. Tim Kick, Dallas, Texas. Tom Kick, Dublin, Ohio. Bob Hoagland, Lakeville, Minnesota. Gary Moore, Groton, New York, but he's in North Carolina now. Dave Stewart, Amherst, New York. Tom Stull, Seminole, Florida. Dick Wagner, Webster, New York. Manager Sonny Arcangeli, Lansing. Manager Andy Morse, Lansing. Now the three managers, 5 or 6 years later, ended up being stars on their varsity team. So they weren't just managers, they were really good players, and they learned how to shoot at all of those practices. For the players that are here tonight, Jack French, Morning View, Kentucky. Please come forward. Captain Darrell Hayner, Oakland, Virginia. Jeff Frost, Montour Falls, New York. And Larry Moore from Lansing. Here's Captain Darrell Hayner.
Thanks, Coach Wright. Nice to be back in Lansing, and nice to be back, what we call the number 40. I don't know how many people know what it is to be number 40. Guess it takes an entire basketball team, and at least those that could make it, to balance out the 4 Lady Bobcats here that were into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them. Based on what I heard of your guys' records and what you've done, I think we could have used you on our team. You were just born about 30 years too late, or maybe better off. I wish we were 30 years younger. I heard Ellen acknowledge that at least 4 of us were here. Believe me, Ellen, we're glad to be anywhere at this point. our team, we weren't very tall. Having a tough time. I do have some notes, but I can't see it with these lights here. Want to thank the Hall of Fame for having us and putting on a special night for us. And in particular, thanks to Chuck Crandall for nominating us into the Hall of Fame. I have to tell you a quick story about Chuck. As you heard, he was one of the original members of the Hall of Fame. Chuck was an athlete that I personally looked up to. He was like my mentor, and I'm sure other members on the team look up to Chuck just like that. I was an 8th grade manager on the basketball team. Chuck was he was a senior, and when we would scrimmage, which was basically middle school. There's no high school. We call it the new high school. It's not new anymore, but there's no high school there. We played ball in the middle school. Coach Cleo, Hall of Fame Coach Cleo, would let me scrimmage with the varsity team. So I was on defense once. I was on Chuck's team, and there was another member, Billy Wagner, who was on the team. Billy was Dick Wagner's older brother. Dick was a member of our team. He set a screen on me. I didn't see it. And I remember going right into him, get knocked down right onto the ground, and I remember distinctly when I ran into him, he hit me right in the ribs, and a little squeak went out of me. It's like a Mickey Mouse squeak. And down on the floor I went. I was embarrassed. I'm looking around, I look up at Billy. He's kind of laughing at me. I look over at Chuck, he's on my team. He had a smile on his face. It was more of a smirk or whatever. And he just looked over at me and he said, "Get up." And so it's like a little life lesson in sports. Like when you get knocked down, you get up. And it's also something that Chuck probably doesn't even remember it, but I did. And it's just something, a little something you say to somebody else and have a profound effect on somebody. It did on me in my sports life. Anyway, about the team, I think Coach Wright defined us pretty well. Before tonight, I traded emails with Tom Kick, with another member. He was in Columbus, Ohio. He wanted to come. He sends his regards to everybody. But he was in Columbus, Ohio, and he would have had about 2 feet of snow in order to get here, so he could not make it. But talking about we were a team, we were unselfish. I had emailed Tom because I wasn't sure who the captain of the team was. I said, "Tom, I think I was the captain. I think we had another one. We had rotating captains, and were you the captain? Would you like to say something?" And he said, "No, I don't remember either. Well, you go ahead and say something. I'm sure you'll do a good job." But he did say something to me in the second sentence that he wrote, and I want to pick it up and read it by quote because it really hit home to me. He said, "I only remember for sure how much we all wanted to win." And I thought, well, that's a really nice memory to have if that's the only thing you recall. And speaking to some of the members here that I hadn't seen in a long time, I asked them, "Who did you win the most?" Larry Moore said, "The only thing I remember is we had so much fun." And those are the good memories. I think we had a lot of fun, and I think we wanted to win. And what that meant is I think we worked really hard. So I don't remember a lot of the detail of the 19 wins. Did we win by a lot? Did we win by a little? I don't remember who the high scorers were. As you heard from Coach Wright, we all took turns doing that. I don't remember who the high rebounder was. I did have a vague memory of the game that he mentioned, the 102 or 3? 103 that we scored to set the school record. I'm glad. Happy to hear it's still a school record. You have to keep in mind, this is back in 1975, and we had no three-point line back then either. So we were a real fast up and down the court type of team. So what I do remember is practice. I remember working hard at practice. remember running up and down the court, and when we thought we were all ready to get set, Coach Cleo would blow the whistle and tell us to line up again. And again. I remember, because we were a fast break team, practicing fast breaks. Take the rebound out to a wing. Jack was going to be out of the wing and just threw the ball, and he was there. He'd send it to the middle, other forward, fill the other side, and we were off on a fast break. And then we would practice that again and again and again. I remember that. I remember the 100 follow shots that we would practice during practices. And I think that's what sort of defined us and helped create the memories that we had. We just wanted to win, and we had fun doing it. A couple other things about the team. I remember we loved to blast music. We blasted music during practices. We didn't have a phone that you could talk to and ask it to Bluetooth some Taylor Swift into the loudspeakers. We had to go to the back electric room, which I tried to get into, and I was over there. It was all locked up, but there was AV equipment, like a turntable, so we would take turns bringing in our albums. And for you younger folks who don't know what that is, go over to that table and they can explain what a record album is. So we'd have to spin an album, or we'd have to pop in a tape. They know what those are too, if you would like to know. And memory I have is the only disagreements we ever had as team members is whose record were we going to play, whose music. And I remember Tim Kicky's not here, I wish he was, because after 50 years I wanted to thank him. He brought a record that was by Foghat, and the album was called Full for the City. I don't care if nobody knows what it is, it's my favorite album. And to this day, it still is one of my favorite albums of all time. It was my daughter's go-to music when I took her to her games. And when we talk about our music now, like our favorite groups, the first thing that we talk about now is, geez, I wonder how many of the original members are still alive. Usually the answers are one, maybe none, maybe they're all gone. So that's memory. I remember getting on the bus for away games, music in the back. I wish Tom Stoll were here. I remember Tom was he was a big guy, but he sang in falsetto. I remember his favorite song was a Chicago song. He's in the back of the bus. I'm singing with him, in disbelief of his falsetto. Tom was a pretty good singer, but only because I was terrible. So, like I said, that's about it. I just want to bring back some memories and give you an idea of what the team was like. After the games, pizza. I don't know how many of you knew the Roma Pizzeria in downtown Ithaca, but that was our go-to place with mushroom pizzas and with the cheerleaders, the teammates, and one of them was gracious enough to marry me. A cheerleader, that is, not a mushroom pizza. My wife Phyllis, thank her, and work hard for their memories. I think is what we, as a team, is what we remember. So finally, the players would like to thank our Hall of Fame coach, Fred Cleo, the assistant coach we heard from at Dinan, our Hall of Fame announcer, Coach Wright, the team managers, Andy, Sonny, Randy, all the cheerleaders, our family, the rest of the entire entourage that made it happen for us. Or I guess better yet to say any more thank yous, I'd like to say it certainly was our pleasure to represent Lansing High School. Thank you.
That concludes the program. You do not have to leave. We're going to have the bars going to stay open. There's going to be music. Enjoy each other. other's company. Thank you for coming.